Warning, the humans have fired the weapon. The message cuts through the silence of deep space like a knife. Every major alien broadcast, every council chamber, every warship, the warning repeats in a dozen languages, echoing from the soul. System. A billion eyes across the galaxy freeze. No one speaks. No one breathes. What did humanity just do? Why are the galaxy's most powerful empires now afraid? ... In the next few minutes, you'll witness the moment the galaxy changed forever. You'll see the secret weapon that made even the bravest aliens tremble. And you'll discover why from this day on, no one would ever ignore Earth again. ... Not long ago, humanity was just another newcomer among the stars. Most aliens saw Earth as a backwater planet, a place of dreamers, artists, and maybe a few reckless explorers. The galaxy was old. Humanity was young. Nobody thought much of them, but deep beneath the mountains of Earth, in a steel chamber lined with blinking lights and nervous engineers, two people knew the truth. Dr. Lin, a quiet scientist with sharp eyes and steady hands, and Captain Reyes, a soldier with more scars than medals, who'd seen too many failures to believe in miracles. They stood together before a machine bigger than a starship. It was called the Atlas Rund. It didn't look like a weapon. Looked like a mountain of steel and copper, humming with energy, cables snaking across the floor. But both of them knew, if fired, it could change everything. Dr. Lin checked her notes again, heart pounding, at 90%. She whispered. Captain Reyes nodded, never taking his eyes off the flickering screens. Once we do this, there's no going back. Outside, storm clouds gathered, drawn by the magnetic force building beneath the mountain. The engineers watched quietly, some clutching good luck charms, others just staring. ... Far above, in the cold silence of orbit, alien satellites listened. They recorded every signal, every burst of energy, every whisper from deep within Earth. On the other side of the galaxy, in the golden halls of the Zeron Dominion, counselors gathered around. A holographic globe. The signal from Earth was clear. Something massive was charging up. Something... High Admiral Crix, leader of the Dominion fleet, frowned. Humans, he said, almost laughing. They're barely out of their cradle. What could they possibly be doing? But no one laughed when the data came in. ... The energy signature was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Krell Confederacy,
experts in planetary defense,
scrambled to analyze the readings. They saw the spike, the sudden pulse of power, the gravity distortions. The oldest Krell scientist, who had lived through 3 wars, shook her head. This is not possible. No planet has ever built something like this. Back on Earth, Dr. Lin's voice trembled. Atlas Railgun, now at 95%. Final checks, please. Captain Reyes spoke into the comms. All teams, stand by. This is it. Double quotes, ... Aliens everywhere watched their screens. Some prayed to gods long forgotten, others prepared for war. The United Galactic Network sent out an emergency broadcast. The same message over and over. Unknown human weapon detected. All fleets remain on alert. Do not approach Sol System. Aboard the Zarin flagship, a young officer's eyes widened. They're targeting an asteroid, not a ship. High Admiral Crix frowned. Why waste such power on a rock? But deep down, every leader knew this was a test. ... Back in the bunker. Ow. Dr. Lin stared at a photo taped to her console, a picture of her family, smiling in the sunlight. She closed her eyes, took a shaky breath, and nodded. Atlas Railgun, ready to fire. Captain Reyes turned a key. A low, rising hum filled the air, so loud it shook the walls, rattled teeth, and made the air taste like metal. The engineers covered their ears. Lights flashed red dot above. The asteroid, just a harmless chunk of rock, drifted through the darkness, unaware it was about to become famous across the stars. ... Across the galaxy. The feed was live. Every major news channel, every military outpost, every alien leader watched as a blue-white beam of energy gathered at the heart of the Atlas R. ALGUN. No one spoke. No one dared. The railgun charged, the power surging, numbers climbing, 99%. Dr. Lin's hand hovered over the launch button. She looked at Captain Reyes. He nodded once. She pressed down. There was no sound in space. But the flash was brighter than 1,000 suns. A beam of pure force shot from Earth, slicing through the void, on a dozen alien worlds. The signal spiked so high, it crashed their sensors. Satellites fried. Ships lost power. The asteroid shattered, not just broken, but vaporized, turned to dust and light. High Admiral Crix stood up so fast he knocked over his chair. Replayed that, he barked. The Zarin Council watched in horror as the asteroid simply ceased to exist. On Krell, the scientists stared in awe. Nothing. Nothing survives that, whispered the old scientist. Everywhere, the same question echoed. If humans could do this to a rock, what could they do to a world? On Earth, the Atlas Railgun's chamber filled with smoke and the sharp smell of ozone. Dr. Lin dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. The stress, the fear, the relief, it all hit her at once. Captain Reyes just stared at the screens, mouth set in a hard line. He knew what would happen next. The first alien broadcast started within minutes. Sol system is now classified as a high-risk zone. Earth has achieved planetary-level strike capability. Advise all ships, avoid human space. On a hidden outpost, a small alien scout ship powered up its engines. Like its mission, go to Earth, find out how the humans did this, and make sure they never do it again. But back in the Atlas Railgun chamber, the celebrations were quiet. Too quiet. The world had changed. But at what cost? What? Captain Reyes looked at Dr. Lin. Do you think they're watching us now? She nodded, wiping her eyes. They're all watching. And they're all afraid. Far, far away, in the darkness between stars, something ancient stirred. A civilization lost to time, but not to memory. It sent a single, silent signal. One only the Atlas Railgun's creators would ever understand. The galaxy would never be the same. The camera pans across the ruined asteroid field, then back to the Atlas. Railgun still smoking, still humming, its lights flickering. A low rumble grows as the railgun charges again, brighter, hotter. The light fills the screen, then everything goes black. The galaxy never slept after the firing of humanity's first railgun. Even though the asteroid was vaporized in a flash, the echoes of that moment traveled much farther than the light itself. News traveled fast. Alien worlds that once ignored. Earth now tuned in to every broadcast and sensor ping from the Sol system. The Zarin Dominion, proud and powerful, called an emergency council. Every seat around the great crystal table was filled with nervous voices and worried faces. High Admiral Crix, who once laughed at human ambition, now stared blankly at the replay of the asteroid's destruction. The impossible light, the power that humans had unleashed. He felt a coldness in his chest. This changes everything, a counselor whispered. Are they a threat now? Asked another, tapping his claws anxiously on the table. Crix looked up. Every weapon is a threat. But this is something new. Across the stars, the Krell Confederacy, famous for their shields and defense systems, studied the data. The oldest Krell scientist, gray scales glittering, shook her head. No shield could stop that, not even ours. You could feel it everywhere. Fear, wonder, curiosity, and above all, new respect for humanity, whether it was wanted or not. On Earth, the world celebrated, but it was a nervous joy. People crowded around screens, watching the replay over the railgun firing, the asteroid shattering. Some cheered. Others just stared, silent and unsure. In the underground control room, Dr. Lin sat quietly at her desk, hands shaking as she scribbled notes. Her mind was racing with questions. She had seen the power of the Atlas Railgun, but she couldn't stop thinking about what came next. Captain Reyes paced back and forth, boots heavy on the metal floor. He didn't smile at the victory. Instead, he watched the news feeds, trying to read the faces of alien leaders. He knew fear when he saw it. He also knew what fear could turn into. A technician approached Dr. Lin. "Ma'am, the United Galactic Network has requested a statement. They want to know if Earth is preparing for war." Dr. Lin looked up, her eyes tired. "We are not preparing for war. We are preparing for survival." At the same time, in the cold blackness above Earth, alien ships moved closer, their sensors locked on the surface. They wanted to see the weapon. Some wanted to steal it. Others just wanted to understand. One ship, small and sleek, drifted silently through the shadows. Inside sat Hraxes, a spy from the Zarin Dominion. His orders were simple: watch, listen, and if possible, learn the secrets of the human railgun. Hraxes watched the planet below, his 4 eyes blinking in the dim light. He wondered what kind of people could build something so powerful and why. They would use it just to destroy a rock. On the other side of the planet, in a crowded press room, Dr. Lin and Captain Reyes stood before a wall of cameras. The world was watching. So was the galaxy. Captain Reyes spoke first, his voice steady. "Today we proved that Earth can defend itself. The Atlas Railgun was built to protect, not to conquer." Dr. Lin stepped forward. "We chose to target an asteroid, not a city or a ship. We wanted to show our strength, but also our restraint," a reporter shouted. "What if the aliens see this as a threat?" Dr. Lin answered softly, "Maybe they will. But maybe they will also see that we are not afraid anymore." Back in space, the signal of the railgun's firing continued to bounce across the stars, picked up by more and more worlds. On the small, water-rich planet of Velen, the people gathered in their floating cities, eyes wide with fear and excitement. The Velen had no weapons of their own. They had always trusted the larger empires to keep peace. Now, their leaders wondered if they should open talks with Earth. Maybe, for the first time, they needed to make their own choices. On the mining outposts of the asteroid belt, workers cheered. Earth had shown its strength, and they felt safer. But deep down, they knew that power always brought new dangers. In the Atlas Railgun's chamber, engineers worked to cool the machine. The air still smelled of ozone. The walls were still warm from the energy that had passed through them, Captain. Reyes leaned against a console, watching Dr. Lin. "Do you think they'll attack us?" he asked quietly. Dr. Lin shook her head. "No, at least not now. But they'll want to know more. They'll send spies, maybe even diplomats." Reyes nodded. "We wait and we watch." Meanwhile, in the Zarin Dominion's war room, High Admiral Crix called for silence. "We do not know the limits of this weapon," he said. "We do not know what else the humans have built. We must send a delegation to Earth at once." A young officer raised her hand. "And if they refuse?" Crix's eyes narrowed. "Then we find other ways." In the hidden spy ship above Earth, Hraxes received new orders. He was to land on Earth, blend in, and discover the source of the Atlas Railgun's power. He felt a thrill of excitement and fear. Humans were unpredictable, but he was trained for this. He prepared his disguise, checked his translation device, and set his course for a remote area near the railgun's base. On Earth, rumors spread faster than light. Some people thought the aliens would attack. Others believed peace was possible. Few worried about what else the government might be hiding. Dr. Lin walked through the city at night, lost in thought. She saw children playing, old people sitting on benches, lovers holding hands. Life went on, even as the universe watched. But she knew nothing would ever be the same. Back at the United Galactic Network, a vote was called. Should Earth be invited to the Council of Worlds? Some said yes, Earth had proven itself. Others said no, Earth was too dangerous, too unpredictable. The vote was close. In the end, they decided to send envoys to Earth to speak with Dr. Lin and Captain Reyes. Face dash to dash face dash as the sun rose over the Atlas Railgun's mountain base. The air was alive with tension. Alien ships hovered in orbit, their lights blinking in the dawn. Earth's defense systems were on full alert, and in the distance, a small shuttle descended quietly through the clouds. It was Hrexus, the Zarin spy. Disguised as a simple merchant, he landed near a village, blending in with the morning crowds. He watched and listened, and waited for his chance. Inside the base, alarms sounded. Unidentified vessel landing nearby, a guard reported. Captain Reyes ordered a patrol. Find them, but do not engage. We are not at war. Not yet. Dr. Lin watched the screens, heart pounding. She knew this was only the beginning. In the great halls of the Krell Confederacy, the council argued late into the night. If humans can build this, what stops others from doing the same? One asked. Do we trust them? Another replied. No. One had an answer, back in the village. Hraxes listened to the locals talk about the railgun, about aliens, about fear and hope. He realized, for the first time, that humanity was not just powerful. They were also deeply human. They laughed, they worried, they dreamed. Hraxes found himself wondering if maybe, just maybe, the galaxy was about to change for the better. As the day faded, the Atlas railgun stood silent and cold, its work done for now. But the world around it buzzed with new energy. Alien ships drifted closer. Embassies prepared for talks. Old enemies paused, unsure what Earth would do next. And somewhere deep in the shadows of space, a new message was sent. From Earth. From another world, one that had been silent for centuries. Prepare. The humans have changed the game. The final shot of the episode lingers on the Atlas railgun against the night sky. A single blinking light shows it is charging again, in case the world holds its breath. The world had not slept since the railgun test. Every city, every village, every home on Earth was buzzing with talk of aliens and the new weapon. But the biggest news was about to come. Alien ships were coming to Earth. It began with a message. Blinking on every screen, in every language. Attention, people of Earth. We come in peace. We request a meeting with your leaders. We must talk for the good of the galaxy. The message came from the Zarin Dominion, the oldest and proudest alien empire. But that was not all. Behind their ships, 2 more vessels arrived. One from the Krell Confederacy, with their famous shield colors glowing blue and silver. And one from the gentle Velen, who had never before left their own planet. The sky above Earth was filled with shapes that no human had ever seen before. Some looked like silver wings, others like spinning crystals. People stared up, holding their breath, wondering if this was the beginning of war. Something else died inside the Atlas railgun base. Dr. Lin and Captain Reyes watched the news feeds, hearts pounding. They had expected fear and threats, not a diplomatic visit. They want to talk to us? Dr. Lin asked, still not sure if she should be scared or relieved. Reyes nodded. We made them notice us. Now we have to answer. Security teams rushed through the halls. A special meeting room was prepared with fresh paint and bright lights, as if it could hide the nervousness inside. The world watched as the alien ships landed one by one. Their ramps hissed and lowered to the ground. The first to emerge was Zarin Admiral Crix himself, tall and thin, with sapphire skin and gold armor. He looked around with sharp eyes, as if measuring every detail, every weakness. The Krell ambassador rolled forward, a being with armored plates like a living tank, but with kind, wise eyes. Last came the Velen, floating gracefully there. Bodies almost glowing in the morning sun, reporters snapped pictures. Soldiers stood at attention. But nobody spoke, not right away. It was Captain Reyes who finally broke the silence. Welcome to Earth, said voice steady, but full of tension. We are ready to talk. Crix nodded, but his face did not smile. We are here because the galaxy cannot ignore you any longer. Inside, the meeting began. The room was tense, every word heavy with meaning. A translator device hummed quietly, making sure everyone could understand. Admiral Crix spoke first. You have built a weapon that could destroy worlds. Why? Doctor Lin answered, her hands shaking a little. To protect ourselves. We have seen what happens to weak worlds. We do not want war, but we will not be helpless. The Krell ambassador leaned forward. Your technology is far beyond your years. Did someone help you? Dr. Lin paused. She thought of the strange coded message she had found months ago, a message that had inspired the final design of the railgun. But she shook her head. No one helped us. We solved each problem ourselves. We learned by watching, by failing, by never giving up. The Velen ambassador, soft-voiced, said, Your people are afraid, so are ours. But fear must not lead to war. Outside, Hraxus, the Zarin spy, watched the meeting on a hidden screen. He had come to Earth ready to find secrets, maybe even to steal them. But as he watched Dr. Lin and Reyes, he saw not monsters, but people struggling to protect their home. He wondered, what if this meeting could change everything? As the talks continued, the aliens asked more questions. Will you share your technology? Will you use the railgun against us? Do you want to join the Council of Worlds? Captain Reyes answered with honesty. We will not attack unless attacked. We will not give away our secrets, not yet. But we do want peace. We want to talk, not fight. The room felt lighter for a moment, like hope was possible, but Admiral Crix was not convinced. He leaned close, his voice low and cold. If your weapon is ever used against one of our worlds, we will answer with force. Do you understand, Reyes? Met his gaze. We understand. We hope it never comes to that. Suddenly, alarms blared. A human officer rushed in. Sir. Unidentified energy spike near the railgun. Everyone jumped to their feet. Reyes and Lin rushed to the control room, the aliens following close behind. On the screens, strange signal pulsed coming from the railgun's power core. It was nothing like the normal readings. The Krell ambassador studied the data. That's not human technology, he said quietly. It's familiar. Very old. Admiral Crix's eyes narrowed. Is this some kind of trick? Dr. Lin looked confused. No, this is not us. Something is happening. Something we don't understand. Hraxes, watching from his hidden room, saw the spike too. He realized this might be the real secret of the Atlas railgun. It was not just human invention. It was built on something ancient, something the galaxy itself had forgotten. He grabbed his communicator, sending a quick message to his superiors. The railgun is not what we thought. There is more, much more. Back in the control room, the energy spike faded as quickly as it appeared. Systems returned to normal, but the sense of mystery and danger only grew stronger. Dr. Lin faced the group, her fear now clear. We have to be honest with you. Months ago, we found a message hidden. In the stars, a blueprint, a warning. It helped us finish the railgun's design. We never knew who sent it. The Krell ambassador nodded slowly. There are legends, he said, of a civilization that vanished long ago. They left behind technology, powerful and dangerous. Maybe you found one of their gifts. Admiral Crix looked troubled for the first time. If this is true, then there are forces moving in the galaxy we do not understand. We must be careful. We must work together. Dr. Lin nodded, hope rising in her chest. Maybe this is a chance for something better. Not just power, but unity. But outside, not everyone wanted peace. On the edge of the city, a shadowy figure crept through the darkness, a saboteur from a rival alien faction, sent to make sure the talks failed. He carried a device, small, but deadly, and crept closer to the railgun's power lines. Inside, the meeting continued, but now with more trust. The ambassadors spoke of peace, of science, of hope for a future where no world would fear another. Captain Reyes promised to share information with the Council. Within reason, Dr. Lin offered to show the aliens the railgun's safety protocols, to prove it was not an attack weapon. For the first time, the tension in the room began to melt, but the saboteur was ready. He placed his device on a power cable, set the timer, and slipped away. A countdown began in scene, unheard. Far above, Hraxes noticed the strange figure leaving the railgun area. He checked the cameras, spotted the device, and realized what was about to happen. He ran. For the first time, The Zarin spy was not an enemy, but a potential ally. Inside, Dr. Lin's communicator beeped. A warning. Power surge detected. Possible sabotage. She ran for the exit, Reyes and the ambassadors close behind. Outside, Hraxes waved frantically. There's a bomb. Get everyone back. Security teams rushed into action, dragging people away from the Railgun. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Then the device exploded, not a full blast, but enough to knock out power and send a shockwave through the base. People screamed. Sparks flew. Dust filled the air, but the Railgun itself was safe. The worst had been avoided. When the dust cleared, Dr. Lin looked at Hraxes with surprise. "You saved us," she said. Hraxes nodded. "I saw something worth saving." The Krell ambassador touched Lin's shoulder. "Maybe today we all found something worth saving." As emergency lights blinked on, the aliens and humans stood together. Bruised but alive. A new feeling filled the base. Not just relief, but hope. For the first time, they were not just visitors. They were allies, standing on the edge of a new future, but far away in the darkness between stars. Others watched and waited. The real test for humanity in the galaxy was only beginning. The base was busy after the explosion. Emergency lights blinked. Engineers worked through the night, checking every cable, every bolt, every corner of the Atlas railgun chamber. Captain Reyes stayed awake, watching over the repairs and the new security patrols. Dr. Lin barely slept. She replayed the warning in her mind. The energy spike, the hidden message, the sabotage. Her thoughts raced. Who had sent the original blueprint? Why did the energy spike feel so strange? And who wanted to destroy their chance at peace? The Council of Alien Ambassadors stayed in the base. They wanted answers too. Hraxes, the Zarin spy, was now a quiet hero. He helped save the railgun and the people inside. But old habits did not die. He moved through the base's shadows, looking for more secrets. That night, while most of the crew slept, Hraxes slipped into the research wing. His dark fur blended with the shadows. He paused at every camera, moving only when the guard looked away. He reached a door marked with strange warning symbols. It was locked tight, but Hraxes had tools tiny, silent, and alien. He picked the lock, heart pounding. Inside, he found a small laboratory filled with screens, papers, and blinking machines. He scanned the room, searching for clues. On the main screen was a strange symbol, a spiral of stars drawn in gold. Under it, lines of code blinked in both human and alien languages. Hraxes recognized the script. It was not Zeron, not Krell, not Velen. It was older, something he'd seen only in legend. He remembered stories told by Zeron elders, a lost civilization, powerful and wise, that vanished before the first empires rose. Some called them the Ancients. Others thought they were just a myth. But here, on this human screen, was proof they had left something behind. Hraxes tapped the screen. A file opened, showing blueprints of the Atlas railgun. But these drawings were different from the ones Dr. Lin had shown the Council. They showed extra parts, hidden layers, strange symbols woven into the design. One word kept repeating, in the old language. Warning. Hraxes felt a chill. This weapon was not just a human invention. It was a puzzle, a message, maybe even a trap. He copied the files onto a tiny data crystal, careful not to leave a trace. Suddenly the door beeped. Someone was coming. Hraxes hid in the shadows as Dr. Lin entered, eyes tired, holding a mug of cold tea. She sat at the main desk, staring at the spiral symbol. She whispered, almost to herself, "What did you want us to do?" Hraxes listened closely as she opened a notebook and read aloud. "We found the code by accident, hidden in a burst of radio waves from the edge of the solar system. At first, we thought it was just noise. But the more we studied, the more we realized it was a blueprint and a warning." She looked up at the screen. "This weapon is not meant for conquest. It is a last line of defense, a shield for the innocent. Use it only when there is no other hope." Her words hung in the air. In the morning, Reyes called a meeting of the ambassadors. He stood before them, tired but determined. "We have to tell you the truth," he said. Dr. Lin joined him holding the notebook. "We did not build the Atlas railgun alone," she admitted. "We found a message left by someone long gone. It helped us finish the design. We do not know who sent it or why." Krell Ambassador's eyes widened. Ancient tech. Dangerous. Velen's voice was soft and sad. "Sometimes gifts are not gifts at all." Admiral Crix was silent, thinking hard. Dr. Lin showed them the spiral symbol. "We think these are the ancients, the ones who warned us. But there is more. The message said there may be other tsunamis that even the ancients feared." The silence was heavy. Suddenly an alarm sounded. A technician shouted, "Long-range sensors. Something is coming through the outer system, very big, very fast." Everyone rushed to the control screens. A massive ship was moving toward Earth. Its shape, unlike any known design, did not answer hails. Its energy signature was twisted, cold and sharp. Reyes felt a chill. "Is that another visitor?" Dr. Lin whispered, "No, that's something else." Krell Ambassador stared at the readings. "That ship is not alive, but something controls it. Something old." Everyone looked at each other, fear in their eyes, as the strange ship entered the system. The Atlas railgun sensors began to pulse. The spiral symbol flashed on every screen, repeated faster and faster. Dr. Lin realized the warning was not just about the weapon, it was about what might follow. She turned to the ambassadors. "We need your help. If this ship is a threat, we cannot face it alone." Admiral Crix nodded. "For now, we are allies." The Krell ambassador tapped his cums, calling for a defensive fleet. The Velen, shaking with fear, sent a message to their people. "Earth is not the enemy. Together we stand." Meanwhile, Raxi sat alone in his quarters, staring at the data. Crystal he thought about sending it back to the Zeron Dominion, as he was ordered. But something stopped him. He felt loyalty not to his empire, but to the people he had met, here Dr. Lin. Captain Reyes, even the other ambassadors. He decided to keep the secret for now. If the ancients had left a warning, maybe it was meant for everyone, not just one empire. In the war room, plans were made. Earth's defense stations were armed. Allied ships moved into position. The Atlas railgun was powered up, but not fired. Dr. Lin checked every system, every relay, making sure it would work if they needed it. The strange ship drew closer, its hull covered in unreadable symbols, its engines humming with dark energy. It stopped at the edge of Earth's orbit. For hours, nothing happened then. A signal burst from the ship, a jumble of old and new codes. The spiral symbol appeared again, this time in red dot. Dr. Lin and the ambassadors tried to translate. The message was simple, but chilling. "You have awakened us. The shield is broken. Prepare." Admiral Crix's face hardened. "We may be facing an enemy older than any of us." Reyes looked out the window at the ship, a tiny dot against the void. He knew the next choice could decide the fate of Earth, maybe the whole galaxy. Dr. Lin took a deep breath. "We built the railgun as a shield, not a sword," she said. "But if this enemy comes, we will stand together." Krell and Velen nodded. Admiral Crix gave a rare, true smile. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to remember what it means to be united. As the sun rose over the Atlas base, the strange ship drifted in silence. No attack came yet, but the warning burned in everyone's minds. The ancients had left their secrets. Now humanity and its new allies had to decide. Would they repeat old mistakes or build something new? Far above, in the shadows of that silent ship, something shifted. Eyes cold, ancient, and hungry opened for the first time in 1,000 years. The story of the Atlas railgun was only just beginning. The sun rose over Earth, but nobody felt safe. The strange ancient ship still hung in orbit, silent and menacing. Its message, "You have awakened us. The shield is broken. Prepare," echoed in every mind. No one knew what it meant, but everyone felt the chill inside the Atlas railgun base. Tension grew with every passing hour. Dr. Lin barely ate or slept, checking the railgun systems again and again. Captain Reyes walked the halls with a heavy step, his eyes always on the screens, watching for danger. The ambassadors from the Zarin, Krell, and Velen stayed close. They sent messages back to their worlds, warning them to be ready. Ships from their fleets arrived in orbit, joining Earth's defense. For the first time, humanity was not alone in facing the unknown. But trust, once broken, is hard to fix. That morning, the council met in the war room. Admiral Crix spoke first, his voice cold and sharp. We have stood together, but now we face a threat beyond any of us. We must act as one. The Krell ambassador nodded. We need to know what that ship wants. Why is it here? Dr. Lin answered, her voice tired but strong.
I believe it's looking for the Atlas Railgun.
Or for the message that helped us build it. The ancients left more than blueprints. They left enemies. The Velen ambassador shivered. My people are afraid. We have never fought a war. Captain Reyes tried to reassure them. Can't. Let fear break us apart. Only together do we have a chance. But not everyone agreed. Some of the humans in the base had begun to whisper. They wondered if the aliens could truly be trusted. Old suspicions returned. Was this all a trick?
It was.
Earth being set up. In the shadows, a tall man in a gray uniform watched the council closely. His name was Colonel Braith. He had never trusted outsiders, not even his own. Colonel Braith gathered a small group loyal soldiers. Angry engineers met quietly. In an empty storeroom. We've let aliens into our most secret base, he said. They know our weapon, our codes, our plans. How do we know they're not planning to betray us? One soldier nodded, his face tight with worry. We should take control. Lock down the railgun. Tell the aliens to leave. Braith smiled, cold. And hard? We'll do more than that. We'll show them Earth is not weak. If that ship attacks, we fire first. Protect our world no matter what. All the while, the ancient ship stayed silent. Suddenly, alarms blared. A power surge rippled through the base. Lights flickered. Screens went black for a moment, then returned, showing a new warning. Unauthorized access detected. Systems compromised. Panic erupted. Dr. Lin ran to the main console, her hands shaking. She saw lines of code racing across the screen. Someone was trying to take control of the Atlas Railgun. Who's doing this? She cried. Reyes shouted, seal the control room, nobody leaves. Outside, Colonel Braith and his loyalists rushed toward the weapons bay, pushing past guards. They wanted to seize the railgun and fire it themselves. The ambassadors realized. Something was wrong. Admiral Crix drew his sidearm, standing between the council and the chaos in the hall. The Krell ambassador activated his shield, protecting. The Velen Earth is turning on itself, the Velen ambassador whispered, tears in her eyes. No, Dr. Lin said. We can't let that happen. She turned to Reyes. You have to trust me. Give me full access. I can lock them out. Reyes hesitated only a second. Do it. Dr. Lin's fingers danced over the keys, sweat running down her brow. She entered a security override. The last one only she and Reyes knew. The railgun systems locked down. Alarms blared, a new message flashed. Manual override engaged. All weapons offline. Colonel Braith and his group reached the weapons bay, only to find the doors sealed tight. He pounded the metal, furious. At that moment, a new emergency began. The ancient ship, silent for so long, suddenly lit up. Its hull glowed with strange runes. Long spidery arms unfolded from its sides. Energy built around its core. In orbit, the combined fleets of Earth, Zaran, Krell, and Velen prepared for battle. HR Axis, watching from the control room, spoke. It's charging a weapon, something massive. Reyes barked orders into his comm. All ships, prepare to fire. But the enemy ship did not target the fleets. Instead, it sent a beam of energy straight at the Atlas railgun base. The ground shook, walls cracked. Sparks flew from every console. People screamed and ducked for cover. A huge section of the roof collapsed, rays of pale blue light slicing through concrete and steel. Dr. Lin was thrown to the ground, her head spinning. She looked up to see the main power core sparking, the railgun's charge draining away. We're losing power. Someone shouted. Reyes pulled Dr. Lin to her feet. You have to stop Braith before he does something worse. They ran through the smoke-filled hallways, searching for the traitor. In the weapons bay, Braith and his men worked desperately to break the override. Shouted at the computer, sweat pouring down his face. We have to fire. Now before it's too late. But the railgun was silent, locked by Dr. Lin's code. Braith turned to his team. If we can't use the weapon, we destroy it better than let aliens take it. He reached for a satchel of explosives. Meanwhile, the ambassadors and Hraxes worked to calm the human and alien crews. The Krell used his shield to protect wounded engineers. The Velen ambassador sang a soft, calming song, helping the frightened. Admiral Crix kept watch, ready to defend the council with his life. Reyes and Dr. Lin burst into the weapons bay just as Braith began setting charges. Stop. Reyes shouted, gun drawn. Braith spun, his face wild. You're betraying Earth, letting them take everything. No, Reyes said, voice hard. We're saving Earth. We're saving everyone. Stand down. Braith hesitated, torn between anger and fear. Dr. Lin stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. You're scared. We all are. But if you do this, you doom us all. We need each other. Please, let's fight together, not against each other. For a long moment, Braith's hand shook. Then, slowly, he dropped the detonator. At that second, the ancient ship fired again. A new beam of energy lanced down, its time not at the railgun, but at the ancient symbols buried under the base symbols that only Dr. Lin had seen in her secret files. The earth trembled. A deep, rumbling voice echoed through the base impossible, ancient and full of sorrow. The shield is broken. Waken the Guardians. The energy beam vanished. The ship went dark, floating in silence. For a moment, everyone was still. Then, from deep below the railgun, machines began to move. Hidden doors slid open, revealing ancient technology, humming with power. Hraxes stared in shock. These aren't weapons. They're real shields, like the legends. Dr. Lin realized the truth. The ancients didn't just give us a weapon. They gave us a way to protect everyone, a way to stand together. The truce had broken, but something new was born in its place. Earth. And its allies, human and alien, now faced a choice. Would they use the old fear or the new hope? Captain Reyes looked at Dr. Lin, then at the ambassadors. We're not alone. We never were. Let's finish this together, as the ancient shields rose, glowing bright against the dawn. The galaxy watched. The true battle for survival and for unity had begun. DARKNESSA blinking countdown fills the screen. 0 hours, 9 minutes, and 59 seconds. 0 hours, 9 minutes, and 58 seconds. 0 hours, 9 minutes, and 57 seconds. ... A woman's voice breaks through. Urgent, trembling. This is Dr. Lin, Atlas Base. If anyone can hear me, we have less than 10 minutes. The ancient ship has activated a doomsday device. It's targeting Earth. We need help. The transmission crackles and dies. 9 minutes. The heartbeat of panic red. Lights flash throughout Atlas Base. Oxygen masks drop from the ceiling. People run in every direction, shouting orders, clutching each other. Searching for hope, the railgun's chamber is chaos. Wires spark, screens flicker. The hum of ancient engines fills the air. Captain Reyes' voice echoes over the intercom. All crew evacuate non-essential areas. Defense teams to your stations. Dr. Lin's status report. Dr. Lin types furiously, sweat beading on her forehead. The countdown blinks on every screen. She whispers there must be a way to stop it. The enemy revealed far above, the ancient ship circles, its hull glowing with lines of blue and red. A hole opens in its side, shimmering, pulsing sphere. Grows aimed straight at Earth. The Krell fleet, Zeron warships, Velen cruisers, human satellites all fire their weapons. But the energy shields of the ancient ship absorb every shot. Laughing at the effort, inside the base, Hraxes studies the alien data crystal. Replaying the ancient's warning, the shield is broken. Only unity can restore it. He runs to Dr. Lin, It's not just a weapon, it's a key. The railgun and the shields must work together. Dr. Lin's eyes widen. We have to synchronize them. It's our only chance. 7 minutes. The saboteurs regret in a ruined corridor. Colonel Braith limps through smoke and fire. He sees the blinking countdown, realizes the end is near. He stumbles into the command center, face streaked with ash. I was wrong, he says, voice broken. Let me help. I know the old codes. Maybe I can buy us time. Reyes looks at him, then nods. All right, Colonel. The last message, down in the ancient tunnels beneath the base. The ambassadors stand before a glowing Pillaran old device, humming with raw power. The Krell and Velen ambassadors place their hands on the pillar. The Zarin admiral hesitates, but finally joins. A projection appears. The ancients, shining figures, their voices echoing across time. Our greatest weapon was never a gun, but cooperation. Only when worlds unite can extinction be defied. The pillar begins to shine, sending energy racing up to the railgun chamber. 5 minutes. Scene 5. The choice DR. Lin faces a screen. 2. Buttons 1 marked fire to unleash the railgun's power, but risk burning out the only hope for a shield. 1 marked synchronized 2 link with the ancient shields. A risky move that could fail and leave Earth defenseless. Reyes asks, What? Does your heart say, Lin? She closes her eyes, remembers her family, the faces of every person who trusted her. She presses synchronize. For minutes, the railgun glows. It's not with anger, but with hope. Energy flows from the ancient pillars, through the ambassadors, into the weapon. Earth's satellites, Krell shields. Zoran and Velenta Ka link together, forming a net of light around the planet. The ancient ship senses the change. Its weapon fires a lance of darkness, screaming toward Earth. For a second, the shield flickers. Children hold their breath. Soldiers grip each other's hands. Then, the shield hardens, glows white-hot, and the enemy beam shatters, spraying. Harmless light across the sky. 1 minute, the sacrifice the railgun's core overheats. Systems fail. Lin sees the temperature spike. Kif, the core explodes. The base will be destroyed. Colonel Braith, at the controls, sees the danger. He turns to Lin and Reyes. I started this mess. I'll finish it. Get everyone out. He stays behind, typing. In manual overrides, cooling the core as long as he can. Reyes grabs Lin's hand, pulling her away. He made his choice. Let's honor it. Braith looks up one last time, whispers, Forgive me, and smiles. 0, Scene 8. Silence. The countdown ends. The base shakes. Then, nothing. The railgun's core stabilizes. Shield energy fades. Ancient ship, its weapon broken, drifts powerless above Earth. In the ruins, survivors gather. Lin and Reyes hug, tears streaming down their faces. The ambassadors join them, united by loss and hope. We did it, Lin whispers, not with the railgun, with trust. The aftermath across the galaxy, worlds watch in awe. Earth once ignored, is now the heart of an alliance. People mourn Braith, but honor his sacrifice. The ancient ship is studied, secrets slowly revealed. The Atlas railgun stands silent. It's not as a weapon, but as a symbol. Final shot. Children play in the sunlight. Drawing spirals in the dust, the words of the ancients echo, softer now. Only unity can restore the shield. Silence. No alarms. No countdown. No screams. Just the quiet that follows a storm. Above Earth, ancient ship floats powerless, a silent witness to everything that happened. Aboard the Zarin flagship, Admiral Crick stands by a window, staring. At the blue planet, he has led fleets into battle, has seen worlds burn and treaties fall. But this silence, this moment of peace, stranger than any war. He records a message for his homeworld. The humans have survived. Their shield held. Their courage was real. We must rethink everything we believed. They are not children, not fools, They are our equals, maybe even our teachers. He turns off the recorder. For the first time in years, he feels hope. In the Krell council chamber, the old scientist sits surrounded by her people. She plays the footage of the shield, the railgun, the unity of three worlds. The Krell children ask, will there be more fighting? She tells them, not if we remember what we saw here, not if we choose peace as the humans did. The children nod, wide-eyed, as the old scientist marks a new date in their history. On Velen, a world of water and floating cities, the ambassador broadcasts a song. It is a song of sadness for the fallen, of wonder for the shield, and of gratitude for the first taste of real hope. The Velen people float together, singing. Their voices ripple across the water, across the stars. On Earth, the dust settles at Atlas Base. Dr. Lin stands outside in the morning light. The railgun is cold and quiet behind her. Its purpose finally fulfilled. She holds a photo of Colonel Breath, the man who tried to take control, then gave his life to save them all. People gather for a ceremony. Soldiers, engineers, children, the ambassadors all come together. Captain Reyes stands before the crowd, his voice rough but steady. We won, but not with a weapon. We won with unity. Let us remember every sacrifice. Let us thank every ally. And let us build something better from this day on. The crowd bows their heads. No one speaks. Some cry, quietly, in the hidden tunnels beneath Atlas Base. Ancient machines glow softly, still humming with power. Heraxes, the Zarin spy, turned. Hero records new notes for his people. He writes, I came to steal secrets. I found friends. I came to sow distrust. I helped build trust. The galaxy is changed forever. I am changed too. He places the data crystal in the heart of the old machine. A gift for the future. Somewhere in deep space, other ships listen to. The silence. Pirates, warlords, forgotten empires, all hear the message in the quiet. Earth is not alone. Unity is the new weapon. The days of easy conquest are over. Days pass. Weeks. Ships leave Earth's orbit, one by one. The ancient ship is towed to a safe place, to be studied by all, not just one world. A new council forms. Not just Zarin and Krell and Velen, but humans too. New treaties are signed. New promises are made. One night, Dr. Lin walks the empty halls of Atlas Base. She stops at a window, looking up at the stars. She thinks of the message that started it all. The shield is broken. Only unity can restore it. She smiles, finally understanding. In a schoolyard, children pretend to be ambassadors and engineers. They build shields out of cardboard, draw spirals in the dirt, dream of new worlds. One child shouts, I am human. I am Zarin. I am Krell. I am Velen. Together, we are strong. The others cheer, their laughter ringing out into the evening air. A time capsule is buried at Atlas Base. Inside, a piece of the railgun, Krell shield crystal, a Velen songstone, a Zarin insignia, and a letter from Dr. Lin to those who come after us. We stood on the edge of extinction and chose to stand together. Let this remind you, the greatest power is not in weapons, but in trust, in hope, and in unity. Silence again, but this silence is not fear. It is peace. It is a new beginning. Starbound Galactic Museum, year 220 years after the silence you stand. Before a display case, within it, a faded photograph of Earth's first United Council, a fragment of the Atlas Railgun's cooling rod. A child's drawing spirals, shields, and smiling faces of many worlds. A silver plaque reads, The Day Humanity fired its first railgun and the galaxy chose to listen. A holoscreen lights up. A gentle voice, belonging to Dr. Lin's granddaughter, speaks. Welcome, traveler. You are standing where unity began. Here we remember the silence when the galaxy held its breath and chose hope over fear. Letter from Admiral Crix found in the archives to my successors. Once I was taught to see humanity as a threat, but I saw their true strength, not in their weapons, but in their will to stand together, even with those they once called strangers. When the old enemy rose, they did not run. They reached for us. If you read this, remember trust is the strongest shield. Excerpt from the Krell Children's School Book. The Atlas Accord was signed in the year of the Silent Dawn. It was the first time Krell, Zoran, Velen, and human hands wrote one law. Together, no world stands alone. This is why we celebrate Unity Day each season, not for the weapon, but for the choice. A Velen songstone, soft and luminous, plays its melody. We were afraid, but we reached across the stars and found each other's hands. A timeline glows on the wall. Year 0, the Atlas railgun fires. +1 day, the silence. +3 days, the enemy ship falls quiet. +7 days, the first new council meets. +1 year, the ancient ship is opened, revealing archives of forgotten knowledge. +10 years, the first joint starship launches crewed by all peoples. +220 years, the museum opens. The legend is taught in every world school. A visitor's audio guide whispers. Some say that at night you can hear the old railgun humming, not with threat, but with promise. The spiral symbol, once a warning, is now a sign of friendship. It marks embassies, starships, playgrounds. Children draw it in the dust, never knowing it once meant fear. A last exhibit, a letter from Dr. Lin, yellowed by time, to all who come after us. We were frightened, alone, divided. But when the worst came, we chose to trust. We gave up the easy path of suspicion, built a shield, not just for Earth, but for every world willing to join hands. If you ever stand where we once stood at the edge of fear, remember, hope is an invention too. Build it together, guard it fiercely, pass it on. With love and hope, Dr. Lin, the holoscreen fades. Museum lights dim, you turn away from the relics, stepping out into the sunlight of a united galaxy. Children of every species laugh and race past, chasing spiral-shaped kites. Above them, starships glide together, human, Zoran, Krell, Velen, and more. The silence that once chilled. The galaxy is now a memory, replaced by the music of voices, the hum of engines, and the promise of tomorrow, the end.